September 12, 2024, at 3:14 Universal Time Coordinated, Atalaya, 7 radio station in the Andes, Chile, caught a strange signal. Unlike any cosmic wave ever received, the signal lasts exactly 13 minutes and 13 seconds, with a stable amplitude and periodic oscillation frequency, like an electronic music track. Initially, technicians thought that this was a technical noise pulse. But when the noise filtering system runs through the 6th-order Fourier decoder, unusual things appear. The sequence of numbers in the signal forms a uniformly spaced sequence of elements. The waveform has a twisted logarithmic structure, reminiscent of the wow signal. Famous in 1977. Central frequency, 1,313 MHz, a number that coincides with the name of the planet that signals, Tyrion 13. Tyrion 13, a wandering planet. Tyrion 13 was discovered in 2022. It is a free-drifting planet, no longer belonging to any star system. It has an unusual orbit, an almost zero magnetic field inclination, and a low light-reflecting surface layer, making it almost invisible to optical telescopes. Scientists used to think it was just a dead planet. The air has no oxygen, no geological activity, no magnetic field. But it was the signal this time that turned everything upside down. Artificial signals, or something more than intelligence. International SETI organization joins the game. After 36 hours of analysis, they confirmed this signal is not natural. The waveform is consistent with the class sigma standard, a type of signal that is theorized as a product of extraterrestrial artificial intelligence, where information is packed in many layers. 1. Acoustic floor, breathing sound, like an artificial circadian rhythm. 2. Arithmetic layer, encoded according to the base 13 counting system, never seen before. 3. Image layer, a series of simple, repeated 3D simulations of hexagonal energy field-like images revolving around the planet's core. Dr. Emily Rao, an astrophysicist from MIT, said, "If you send a signal to the universe, you will want someone to understand it. But if you send a signal just for someone to understand, it means you are talking to someone. The question is, with whom?" When the Atalaya 7 station announced the signal to the open science community, in just 24 hours, more than 300 different decoders were posted online. Some people think it is an integrated star map. Others decode music with therapeutic frequency at 432 Hz. However, the most shocking translation comes from AI of ESA, European Space Agency. When processing signals with ancient language tools, AI finds that the repetition frequency of a wave segment matches 94% with the ancient Sumerian language, specifically the cuneiform character associated with the god Enki. The code translates into a word: wait, waiting. Some scientists believe that Tyrion 13 is not just a drifting planet, but possibly a mobile signal station, programmed tens of thousands of years ago. This theory leads to a bolder hypothesis. Maybe this planet used to have life, or used to be a place where some form of intelligence was imprisoned, and the signal was a cry for help or a warning. In the global SETI emergency meeting, experts are divided into 2 groups. Group 1 believe that this is an invitation to contact, a one-of-a-kind opportunity to communicate with an intellect beyond the universe. A Group 2 assume that this is the last warning. A prevention system has just been activated in the wrong way. In the middle of that debate, there is a detail that few people notice. This signal can only be received at exactly 3:14 Universal Time Coordinated and repeats every 13 days. It's like a reverse clock, counting on something. We don't know what we're hearing. But what is certain is someone is trying to speak up, and that person doesn't want to tell everyone. They only tell those who know how to listen. 13 days after the first signal, 3:14 Universal Time Coordinated, September 25, 2024. The signal from Tyrion 13 repeats. But this time, it is not like the previous signal, but like a reaction, as if the planet was listening and now begin to answer. Cycle change, an answer? The frequency this time slightly translates to 1,314 MHz. The sequence of prime numbers has disappeared. Instead, it is an inverted Fibonacci sequence. The wave rhythm is no longer a circadian rhythm but turns into a honeycomb noise, evoking a feeling of structural breakage. Some scientists describe it as the echo of a trapped mind, breaking its own language to find a way to connect. From NASA, senior signal engineer Lucas Mehran discovered a scary point. In a wave block lasting exactly 33 seconds in the middle of the signal, there is a human voiceover sound signal. When denoised and slowed down, the voice comes out in ancient Sumerian. Not all gates lead to the light. That voice has a creepy human-like tone. The United Nations Sentinel Project, an AI deep learning system specializing in analyzing alien signals, was granted priority access to the Tyrion-13 signal. After only 4 hours, Sentinel gave the results. The signal contains 7 layers of embedded data, in which there is a stage carrying a 3-dimensional spatial compression signal, equivalent to 18 terabytes of data in each pulse. Another layer is encoded by a series of modified neutrino waves, which cannot be created without light time travel technology. Preliminary conclusion: the signal source cannot come from the planet's surface. It comes from the core center, or below an underground artificial structure in the heart of Tyrion-13. On the 5th floor, images extracted from wave data reveal a 3-dimensional space map, in which there are Tyrion-13 is the origin. 6 other planets are marked with double helix symbols, which may be related to DNA structure or consciousness waves. An arrow pointing towards the Earth, with the symbol, the species that knows how to open the gate. The scientific community is in waves. Countries began to react. China and Russia want to signal a response, affirm the Earth's position and goodwill to communicate. The US and EU are wary again, thinking that this could be a bait system to attract attention. The United Nations Security Council held an emergency vote. Meanwhile, a private research group called Aeon Dawn, consisting of physicists, hackers, and philosophers, claimed to have sent a response signal before being allowed, via a private radio station in Greenland. The signal they sent? A piece of human DNA code, with a modified part. 3 days after the unauthorized response from Aeon Dawn, Tyrion-13 began to emit flashing light, not visible to the naked eye, but clearly through spectral telescopes. Spectroscopy indicates a spike in neutrino energy. The thin air around Tyrion-13 begins to swirl slightly, as if artificial gravity is activated inside. A news report from ESA briefly concluded, Tyrion-13 is no longer just a planet. It's waking up. At 3:14 Universal Time Coordinated, October 8, 2024, the 3rd signal arrived. No more interruptions, no more fragmentation. It's an image, a stereoscopic video sequence that only lasts 21 seconds. In the video, a planet is covered by suspended geometric structures, not following Euclid's physics. A floating entity, 6 meters high, with a face that constantly changes between species, humans, reptiles, insects, appeared. It says only one sentence, in stereoscopic language translated after 18 hours. They came before us. They fell into silence. Don't repeat. The gate only opens once. Only 48 hours after the 3rd image signal from Tyrion-13 was detected, the research team from Langley Data Station, USA, found something unexpected in the old signal archive from the 1970s. Specifically, a radio signal is classified as disordered, obtained on September 13, 1977, just 1 day after the WOW signal. Famous. The frequency, period, and waveform are almost identical to Tyrion-13. But the most creepy thing is, that signal also lasted 13 minutes and 13 seconds. There is the same type of class data compression, something that no one on Earth in 1977 was able to decipher. Coordinates of origin? A star system near the constellation of Cancer, 72 light-years from Earth. There is no longer any suspicious planet in that region. Astronomers call it the Cancer Silent Hole, where both natural and artificial radio signals cannot exist. The question arises, who sent that signal? And do they still have? While government agencies debated about the next contact, the Aeon Dawn organization released a strange code, which is believed to be collected from the 7th floor of the latest signal. This code, when built into a 3-dimensional spatial map, creates a brain-like image with 13 main light regions representing conscious knots. At the center, a fractal double helical cube with an ancient name label. Ulzermayan, Memory Revival Zone. Along with the image, Aeon Dawn made a scary statement. The signal is not just an invitation, but a biological data key. If completely deciphered, it can recreate the ancient wisdom that has been erased or sealed. In the face of global pressure and the possibility of losing control of the data source, the United Nations approved the mission Ether-1, the first unmanned spacecraft launched directly to Tyrion 13. Technical information. Speed, 0.27 times the speed of light, using a new generation ion engine. Transmit images and data directly with an 18-minute delay. Equipped with biosensors, transplanetary core radar, AI, 4, level terrain drone. Only 72 hours after approaching the orbit of Tyrion 13, Ether-1 sent back the first image. A dark gray surface, cracked like broken glass, covered with hexagons deeply rooted in the soil. The surface temperature is almost absolute zero, except for a single area, a round crater that glows blue, constantly changing shape like respiration. The ship's AI predicts, below the crater is an unknown source of energy, whose oscillation rhythm coincides with the alpha waves of the human brain. Ether-1 transmitted images of the core region. An unusual event happened. The entire global communication system began to interfere in exactly 13 seconds. Every device, from phones to military radars, displays the same line of code. The threshold is open. Choose the person who carries the memory. At the same time, the image from Ether-1 sent to Earth was interrupted. But the last frame is still recorded. A humanoid structure more than 10 meters high, standing in the dark, eyes glowing like plasma crystals, looking directly at the drone. Scientists now believe that Tyrion 13 is not just a place to emit signals. It is a mechanism, a giant conscious storage, operating in a special space-time cycle, only activated when there is interaction from intelligent organisms. Dr. Emily Rouse spoke at the OpenSETI Forum. We have activated something, and it is not only related to physics, but also related to consciousness and cosmic memory. A race is starting. Who will be the first to completely decipher Tyrion 13? And if the entity on the planet really awakens, does humanity have enough time to prepare? In the darkness between the stars, there are gates that are not for anyone, but always wait for the right person to open them. On October 21st, 2024, at 3:14 Universal Time Coordinated, just like every 13-day cycle, the last signal from Tyrion 13 was sent to Earth. But this time, not to the observatories, not NASA, not ESA, but to a human, Aria Van, a 29-year-old Vietnamese linguist living in Kyoto, Japan, wakes up in the middle of the night in a sleepwalking state. Her hands constantly draw unknown symbols on the wall, in regular rhythms. 13 beats/second. She didn't know why. Just a few hours later, scientists confirmed the Aria symbols drawn are part of the 7th-level language in the Tyrion 13 signal, which even Sentinel AI cannot translate. The impossible, Aria has never accessed signal data. Aria's comprehensive genetic test revealed a strange mutation in the RNA sequence, which does not appear in any other person. This gene coincides with the DNA code that was sent to Tyrion 13 by the Aeon Dawn team. That means Aria was not only chosen, she is the memory bearer that the planet is waiting for. Over the next few days, Aria began to recall memories that did not belong to her, of a world with architecture floating in space, of the sound of the stars breathing, and a voice that always whispered, "You are the rest of us. Open the door." On October 23rd, the Ether-1 probe was confirmed to have completely lost connection after entering the core of Tyrion 13. All signals were silent for 3 hours and 13 minutes. But when scientists were preparing to declare failure, an unthinkable happened. The Ether-1 signal is re-established, but from the moon. The ship appeared 384,000 kilometers from Earth, intact, but there was a strange object attached, a black cube, emitting brainwaves like a human, but there was no living creature inside. Inside the cube, they found a piece of code is printed on liquid metal. She is ready. What about you guys? When Aria touches the cube, the whole planet Tyrion 13 glows brightly across all frequency bands, like a lighthouse in the middle of the universe. Observatories from Earth recorded. Tyrion 13 began to shift orbit, something seemingly impossible. On the surface, there are 13 giant circles arranged according to the structure of neurons. A trail of light from Tyrion 13 goes straight towards the moon, like a bridge. From the data center in Geneva, the spectral image shows A space gate is being opened, connecting two points that are light years apart, thanks to the resonance of conformed consciousness. The gate cannot be seen with the naked eye, only appears through the mind, and Arya is the only one who sees it clearly. When Arya entered the sphere of influence of the cube, the entire device around her stopped working. In 13 minutes and 13 seconds, all electromagnetic waves on Earth are completely turned off, as if the planet stopped breathing. When the system returned, Arya disappeared. There is only one last video left in the cube. It's her, speaking in her voice, but her eyes are no longer human. I am Arya, and I am no longer Arya. They waited. They are neither gods nor exterminators. They are the last remaining wisdom, waiting to be understood, waiting to be remembered. Each civilization that reaches the point of consciousness evolution will receive a signal. But not everyone is ready. You guys still have time, but not much anymore. Don't just listen. Remember, Tyrion 13 no longer emits signals. The cube self-destructs, leaving a crystal being studied in Geneva. Some people claim to have seen Arya in a dream, and remember that the memory does not belong to them. Scientists now agree. The signal is neither an invitation nor a warning. It is the beginning of an awakening, not outside the universe.